I'm Jennifer Johnson, and I raise sheep for their wool.
Welcome to Whispering Pines Shetland Sheep Farm in western New York State, home to our lovely flock of soft Shetland sheep. We breed and raise our sheep to produce soft, crimpy wool for hand spinners to enjoy. Thank you for liking this video and for subscribing to our channel.
So it's the middle of January here on the farm in western New York, and we are just at the end of breeding season. So we breed our sheep every year, and I was trying to think about it, like why we breed. And I would say the main reason is because we just can't resist the potential that exists in our flock with our breeding stock. And we just want to see, what the next level would be. And it's all mainly about fleeces, but it's also about health and conformation of the animals. And also what happens is we'll have a ram that we think is just spectacular, and we kind of want to see what he would produce. So I think there's a level of just really, deep curiosity for why we breed. It's not necessarily a commercial thing. I know I love you too. So we do. We breed every year, and except for 1 year, we've been breeding with rams, live rams. So you can breed with semen. You can do artificial insemination where you don't need a ram. And that is a pretty good idea, especially if you don't want to deal with the temperament and the aggression that you get when you're dealing with rams. You can bring in semen from rams that are totally unrelated to your flock. So with us, when we're using live rams, like in these two pens right here, we have to do a little bit of legwork to make sure that the rams aren't related to the ewes that we put them with. So it's just like with people. First cousins probably shouldn't have babies because you can have health issues that tend to get amplified. So with us, what our limitation is we don't breed first or second relations. So the first relation would be like a sibling or a son or a daughter, a child. So that we don't pair those together. And then we go back one more level and make sure that there's no duplication in the grand relation. And that is enough of a separation for us to be able to breed them together. And we even so try to really do separate lines when we breed, but using live rams. So this year we ended up using 2 of our ram lambs that were born. They're still actually technically lambs because lambs are 12-month-old sheep, anything under 12 months. So these were born last year. And when I say last year, I mean, let me think about this, 2024, because we're in 2025 right now. So there's little, we call him Trotter, doing that thing called the flame-in response. Of course, he's going to stop when I catch him. What do you smell, mister? You smell something good? So we're using ram lambs this year, which can be risky because they're not proven. So when I say proven, that means that they have never produced lambs before. So it's possible they're sterile. So I've wasted this, possibly wasted this whole breeding group here of 4 adult ewes with 1 ram lamb. But we decided to take that chance because we really wanted to see what these 2 ram lambs that came off of our farm last year would do. So the first ram, you can tell what the ram is in our breeding groups because the rams don't have coats. And in this pen here, we have Trotter. This is his nickname. He's not registered yet. But because he has this really awesome gait when he runs, he trots. So that's what we call him. Trotter, he's a black Smerslet socket. That would be his color, being black. He's black based. And then he does have spots. So he's a spotted ram. His pattern is no pattern. So he's not a catnugget. Right? He's not white. His pattern is no pattern, meaning he doesn't have any pattern. So we bred 4 ewes. He's in here with 4 ewes. And when you look at the pens, this is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 side-L panels. And they've been doing perfectly fine. So you don't need a ton of space, especially with the Shetlands. And I would say the majority of the decision this year was involved in just making sure they aren't related to anybody. So none of these share the same first or second level relative. I wanted to give Mrs. Hughes here a chance. This will probably be her last year because she's getting up there in age. We usually retire them at 10 years old. So Trotter has Chelsea also. She's the gray ewe that's got a little bit of ruin going on underneath her neck. And that's happening because she pokes her head underneath the panels to be able to get the hay that's outside the pen. So that's Chelsea. And then we put Trotter with Yuki. Yuki's the fawn cat mugget. We just really love Yuki. She always gives us beautiful lambs. She's really built beautifully and has a really nice fleece. They're all super fine. Let me just see who the white ewe is. I'm pretty sure the white ewe is Tosca that we put him with. Yeah, he got Tosca. Tosca's the white ewe. She's a nice, really good size ewe. She produces a really good big fleece. She's a little bit mean. She bit me last year when I was a ruiner. But, so that's this group of 4 right here. Now I've set the breeding groups up on December 15th. And it's mid-January right now. So in a couple days, they will have cycled. They will have had enough time to have cycled twice. 17 days is the cycle. So they probably were not all, I didn't do cedars. I didn't manipulate their hormones to ensure that they would be in heat when they got put in here. So it was all perfectly natural. And so they all had a chance to at least get bred once, I guess, is sort of the way we did it. So we're going to be breaking up the groups in the next day or so because I want to get them back with the main flock. I want to get the rams pens back together. I'm kind of sick of taking care of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pens of animals. I want to get us back down to 3. So in this pen, we have Bis Ram. He's a white ram. And his sire is Sebastian. We still have Sebastian. Sebastian is a really nice gray cat mugget ram with a beautiful fleece and a great body. But he's related to almost everybody on the farm. So we decided this year that we were going to use lambs and maybe not breed as many ewes. So this little guy is as a result of that. He also is losing some of the wool on his neck because he also will be reaching underneath the panels to get the bits of hay that fell outside the pen. So he's got 2 of our ewes that we artificially inseminated and ended up getting these ewes. And the semen that we used was from rams directly from the UK. So they've got the first level UK genetics. And that would be, this is Rexam. She's a beautiful gray cat mugget. And Liverpool is the white ewe over there. She's out of Ophavia. And then we gave Fanny one final chance to breed because she's going to hit retirement probably in the next year or 2. I'll have to look at my records and I'll put a note on it here. We decided to use Fanny because we love her and we love the lambs that she gives us. And her fleece has stayed really fine even at this point in her life. So these are the indoor groups. I'm going to take you outside. I also really want to clean this side of the barn because it hasn't been cleaned in 34 days. So that's that inside groups. So they kind of had it nice, safe and protected from the elements. So there's 3 pens we're tending in the barn. One is all the ewes that we decided not to breed, which are these girls here. Then there's the 2 indoor pens, which are holding 2 breeding groups. And they all need to be separately fed hay, water, just checked on. So it's a little extra work for us. And of course we breed, now normally we breed a lot earlier than we did this year. Normally we set up our breeding groups in Thanksgiving, that weekend. So here in the States, I think it's the third weekend in November. And we bred late this year because we had a new grandson who was born on December 8th. So we decided not to put the breeding groups together until after he came. The reason for that is because it's a lot of work to tend to breeding groups. And if you're going to ask someone to help you out and do it, it's just too much. So that's why we set them up later. But we do have history of breeding ewes at the end of December, and all of them producing lambs. So there's very low risk, unless all the rams are sterile. Because like I said before, we set up 4 breeding groups, and all 4 we used ram lambs instead of the adults. One of the reasons we didn't want to use the adults is because when you put the rams back together, you have to deal with them reestablishing their hierarchy, and they can get really aggressive, violent, lethal. It's a really dangerous thing to do because they will crack heads, they smash into each other, and it's really, really stressful. And normally what we'll do is we'll put them in a little enclosure with hay bales everywhere in the enclosure to prevent them from being able to put enough distance between them so that when they have impact, they don't break their necks or whatever. And we just didn't want to deal with it with the 2 adults because it's just a lot more work than it is with lambs. Although those 4 lambs, those rams, when we put them back together, we fully expect. What are you? Were you enjoying that little hook? When we put the ram lambs together, they're gonna get aggressive. So we're gonna have to do some work to make the pens safer for them, so they don't get the distance and the impact. All right, so we're gonna head outside now and take a look at the other 2 breeding pens that I've created. Excuse me. Excuse me, ladies. Can I get by? Thank you. All right, so we're gonna head out here. It's a little bit windy, so, well, I guess it's not too bad. We've been getting a lot of snow and very cold temperatures, which people always worry about the sheep. And I try to tell them, the sheep love the weather. They love the cold. The colder the better. And it's also good to have cold temperatures because it kills off the parasites that they burrow into the ground to stay warm over the winter. And if it's really cold, it's good. All right, so here is a breeding group with a ram lamb we purchased. So we ended up at the end of in the fall with 2 ram lambs, and because we wanted to breed at least 12 ewes, we decided to bring in a couple rams with their fresh genetics. So we purchased. So this little gray guy here with a spot on his head, he doesn't have a coat, so that's how we know he's the ram. That's Earl Gray. And his group is Musetta, the white one, who I just love her. She's out of Brienne, and I think she's gorgeous. Isolde. She's the gray one with the white spot. She actually looks a lot like the ram. She's got a great fleece. She's a little grouchy, which I don't care. I love that. Chow Chow is my spotted Jew over there by the calf hut, and Electra is my black girl right here. She's really friendly. So they're outside, and we've been tending to spoil them by giving them a little extra hay being outside. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how we are. And the other thing about these outside pens is we have to run extension cords to get to the bucket, so a little extra work there. So that's this pen. I'm excited. And then over here, this is the 4th breeding pen. And this one is Earl Brown. So he's a little bit related to us. This farm where we bought him from she and I have similar goals and tastes, so we tend to buy from each other and then buy from similar breeders. So turns out Earl Brown, when he was a lamb, we saw him and we were enchanted by him. It was darker. I believe he's actually modified. Miyoget is the color that we think he might be. There's Liverpool, one of my use from AI. He also got put with Tovia. Adriana is the brown one. Well, there's two brown ones. Adriana's got the really woolly face. And then that's Gertrude in the back. We put Gertrude in a breeding group last year and she didn't take, so we're gonna give her another chance and see how that goes. So those are the breeding groups for 2024-2025. And so now it's just the waiting game. So they could have been bred any point in time there from the 15th of December until tomorrow, mid-January. So we're gonna have a later lambing this year. They take 147 days to gestate. And I haven't figured out yet, but I'll put it right here, what the first day of lambing could be if somebody took on December 15th. What we have seen and observed in prior years is that most of the time they take the first, like right away. So we'll have a big push of lambs right at the beginning. But anyway, thank you for stopping by to watch this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you can come back soon. And it does help the farm if you like and subscribe to our channel. And also, if you want to get notified, I've been doing live feeds more regularly on YouTube on Fridays at noon. And when I schedule them, if you click the little bell, you'll get notified in your feed when my next live is going to be. So thank you for your support of the farm. I really appreciate it. And I hope you can come back soon. Oh, my goodness. I know I love you.